So, once again, it is about high-frequency acupuncture. Surely, some of you have already seen some, or one of the videos where we use an acupuncture needle, which we then insert into the body. And then, with the large device, the cell tuner, and the Tesla antenna, we apply the field, resulting in wonderful, remarkable healing successes. However, today I would like to not necessarily talk about the large cell tuner. And we often hear many people say, well, that costs a lot of money. I always have to say, folks, take a look at the market. There are devices that can do much less and cost much more. In this respect, the concept of cause and effect from the last cause is indeed an effective device that everyone should have at home. Only if someone can't afford it right away, which was the case for me at the beginning, do we now have the little brother from the water matrix, which I always call the Tesla2Go 2021. This means we now have a very small device here. There is usually also a collar for it that can be secured. You can also attach it here through this loop on a chain. You can create your own chain and you can wear it around your neck. But what is it now? So first, frequently asked questions. How does it actually work? We have two different sides. The side with the vortex should be worn against the body. This is always important. The other story is we have a charging output or charging input. There are these completely normal Samsung plugs, the large ones, which can be used to charge it anywhere. However, the package also includes an LED light and a charging cable, so you can start charging immediately. The charging does not take very long. And what is also a question is, how long is it actually usable? You can have it on for up to 12 hours and it still lights up. What do I mean by it still lights up? There is a flat button on the edge that you press for Tesla2Go 2021, and when you press it, a blue light appears here. Yes. Now this is very, very important. There are actually two different functions. The blue light is the longitudinal healing frequency of 150 megahertz, which is also the solar energy, the energy that is celestial energy, enabling all life on planet Earth. One of the greatest healing energies we have in the transverse plane is the 144 Hertz. Here we have a small nose switch. It is called a nose because it slightly protrudes, just like a nose. And when I click the switch here, we will soon have a green light. Green means 2021, transversal, 144. It is also said in the ancient traditions or old writings that 144 Hertz is the heart energy, heart chakra. That's not entirely true. It's not just the heart chakra, it activates all chakras. Ultimately, it is the strongest healing frequency in the transpersonal realm. Most or almost all frequencies, fatty frequencies and so on, operate on a transverse level. We only have the Tesla frequency once when we switch it to a longitudinal wave. There is only an infrared or a laser, and it always depends on how it is positioned, which can also have a longitudinal healing effect. However, it is indeed the Tesla energy that I primarily and most prefer to work with, as it is the strongest frequency. The greatest healing frequency is the one that represents heavenly energy, which I like to combine with the Schumann frequency as earth energy. And the Schumann, we always refer to this in Chinese medicine as letting the spirit sink, or rooting the spirit, like in Tai Chi. The movement is to root the spirit. And the same happens here, essentially 24/7 automatically when you carry the device with you. Well, I prefer to work with the 150 MHz energy, but you can also use the other one. Both are meaningful and healing. What do these frequencies do, or what do these frequencies do in the body? It improves the cell structure. The cell water is structured hexagonally. The cell organelles can function better, and the telomeres are rebuilt, and so on. This enhances the sodium-potassium pump, allowing for better intake and output, meaning the intake of beneficial substances and the expulsion of harmful substances from the cell. Essentially, this whole potpourri rejuvenates and heals us. The more energy a cell has, the better it can heal. If it doesn't have enough energy, it cannot heal as effectively. We are talking about the 90 mA cell voltage down to 70 mA. Everything below that creates edema, inflammation, and later even cancer at 15 mA. That is the reason why I have been able to help many people who had cancer very effectively, or yes, one must be careful when saying it, to heal them. The cancer encapsulated itself, shrank, and in some cases was then operated on. So, in principle, you can reset the cell structure, which means bringing it back to its original state as it was intended by the Creator, and then the cell heals itself. Yes, we are equipped for healing when we cut ourselves. We can staple it, put a bandage on it, or sew it up. Healing will happen anyway. Whether one staples, patches, stitches, or glues depends on how the scar should turn out. Should it become a scar? How can one best deal with this or that cut, and so on and so forth? But the fact is, cells heal. So it aids the healing process in the cell. That's why we don't call it anti-aging, where we stop aging but rather reging. We are rejuvenated, so to speak, with the 150 megahertz. All of this is also contained in this small device, not just in the large cell tuner with the Tesla antenna, but also quite affordable for everyone in this small device. Therefore, I recommend that everyone who wants to experiment a bit with high-frequency acupuncture acquire this device. One can also structure water with the device at 150 megahertz. I just got some water from the filtration system. This is also a frequently asked question. How do you do that? Of course, always with the spiral. We then place the water on it, and it takes a relatively short time. So it immediately starts to structure itself hexagonally. This means it forms these 6-pointed stars. If we were to freeze it, we would already be able to see structures now. It has only been a few seconds. After about a minute, we can say that we have already structured most of the water in a hexagonal form. We always specify 5 minutes. Most of the large devices are set to 5 minutes for water structuring, just to ensure that it is truly completely structured. How long does that take? How long is such water then hexagonally structured? We have discovered this over 21 days. This is what the water matrix does. It is very scientific in measuring and scaling everything. But I can say from experience that if we now essentially freeze this and hold it under the electron microscope, we can already see these little stars that we used to see at Christmas on the window. So now there's another story. What if I have water that is not hexagonally structured in any way? So here I have much less good water, here I have much less not so good water. That's also a sensible question. If I pour the bad water in now, it will no longer be hexagonally structured. No, that's not true. Now the information, the higher information, is always stronger than the lower information. Here it is about E equals mc. So, energy equals mass times the speed of light. The important information is E equals c squared laid on top. And we all know that love is the greatest force in the universe, the universal love. And similarly, it applies to the hexagonal structuring of the water itself. Now we have structured healthy water, in principle for 21 days, after which it should be slowly restructured again. But I believe that in 21 days we have drunk the water. What is still meaningful and clever to address now, because it is often asked why it is so good. Well, just like with the antenna, we not only structure the cell water in a hexagonal form, we structure the entire cell, and the same. So that means I mentioned sodium and potassium pumps. Earlier, good substances enter the cell more easily, while bad substances exit the cell more quickly. And when we additionally drink the water that is hexagonally structured, we promote this process for the benefit of users. And you can notice it quite quickly. The water tastes softer almost milkier. It's quite pleasant. If one has just a little bit of sensitivity, one can also perceive this oneself. So, this is one of many videos. I hope I was able to answer some questions already. I will make another video shortly that will also cover acupuncture points and applications. Here I will just briefly mention it, essentially as an intro. So we can not only wear it around our neck, but we can also put it in our pocket. For example, I have here, through training, a slight hip problem, an overstimulation of the quadriceps area can be briefly addressed by putting something in your pocket. In the past, people used to carry chestnuts in their pockets for rheumatism, right? Collecting chestnuts, perhaps someone still remembers that. It has a much more intense effect. But you can also order small acupuncture needles online or at the pharmacy and stick them on an acupuncture point. I am currently using Pericard 7. We could all use some calming. And then we can also place it on top and structure it. Or the lung master point, I will show that later as well. We can let it hang on the chain and structure it. Then one of the frequently asked questions is, yes, but what do I do if I don't have any of that? So in principle, you could even take an old tennis sock, hopefully washed, then cut off the toes at the front, which would create a tube. Then you basically wrap it around your arm, and you can use an old sock for this. You can also use a new sock if you prefer. You can use any sock. I wouldn't necessarily take your wife's or daughter's favorite stockings right now, as that always leads to discord. But ultimately you can use any sock. If it's a bit tighter, you can make it work by securing it at the knee, at the leg, at the ankle, on the arms. You can secure it anywhere with that. If you don't have that now, no socks in the house, then you can simply take a very basic rubber band. Then I put this rubber band around mine. Oh, that was an old rubber band. Hopefully there is a new rubber band included. Not that we should all start tearing rubber bands now. Yes, here, this is with the one in the south in Mallorca. I am at the CEC so that the polymers dissolve faster. And then I just place it under the rubber band, and it is also secured. Just a regular rubber band. If not, you can get that in any supermarket or at the Chinese place down here. Regular rubber would also suffice. You can use chains for that, but of course the string will wear out eventually. Then it's also a shame when you always collect all the balls together. Maybe that's known. Well, only those who have experienced it know it. You can also take a regular piece of tape, make it relatively long, and cut it off, either with scissors. Now it has worked well. Prepare it if necessary. Having prepared it this way, I insert the needle. Then I go ahead and do not fix it with the table, but I wrap it myself and do this freehand. You can place it on, and I have also fixed it. So just normally with a completely normal tester, with the rubber band, you can fix these things, the Tesla2Go, with these items, and then you can keep it effective for as long as you want. I often do this overnight somewhere, as long as it doesn't disturb my sleep. Then I don't have to worry about it further. I then wake up automatically, so to speak, in the middle of the night, and it doesn't bother me in everyday use. But even then, it is hardly bothersome if it is secured well. Of course, you can also use tapes, specifically the medical tapes that we have here in the practice. There are Velcro fasteners, and there are a whole lot of options. Or if you have an elbow protector, for instance, if you might have developed tennis elbow while playing tennis, you can place the corresponding acupuncture needle underneath the tennis elbow protector, which will have a significantly enhanced effect. In principle, 2001, and with this tennis elbow, it holds significantly faster. I also discovered this, indeed, from my own experience as an athlete. So I hope I was able to answer many questions already. I am always available from time to time for question and answer sessions. In the long run, in the coming year, I will also hold a special Zoom meeting for people who still have questions about it. But in most cases, when you get a little creative, you quickly come up with the answers yourself. It is always sensible to read the book on the water matrix. Now we have no embellishments. No, or rather, I always recommend buying my book and learning a little more about high-frequency acupuncture, or even attending my courses. The more you know, the better you can help yourself and others.